So this is going to be a different video than I usually do. First of all, I'm talking. I don't normally do that in my videos. And in this video, I'm going to explain how I made that dubsteppy live jam that I posted right here. I'll play a clip.
Sound we wanted you to hear.
Yeah, so I'm going to break down all the instruments, the mixer, and how exactly I did this DAWless jam. So the Tonic is playing the main drums, and it's actually not syncing to anything, so I'll just plug that right in. I have a field recorder going to be recording the audio for this jam. So basically it all goes through a mixer, and then the phones out, which are headphones out, is going into the mic, external mic input of my Zoom field recorder. So then I have headphones that are going to plug into the Zoom recorder, and with this I can hear everything that's coming from the mix and record it. So I'm pressing record here. Sweet, so we're now recording. Awesome. So basically the drums are coming from the Tonic. Now, one of the things that I have to do is always raise the volume of the Tonic, or else it'd be really hard to hear. So now we can hear, get the Tonic, sweet. So the next thing is going to be there's audio vocal samples that are being played. That's coming from the Street Fighter. So vocal samples have been already pre-processed, and they're just going to be played by the Street Fighter. Now the thing is about doing a DAWless jam is that you need to sometimes boost or elevate things, or like, let's call it, add gain to it. So basically this pocket operator doesn't have enough punch to it. Like, you can barely hear it. However, when I use my Cool Music Insane distortion pedal, it has a gain knob. I'm able to raise the volume of it. So we're actually able to hear the pocket operator. Because without this, we don't hear anything. It's too quiet. So there we go. Another thing you can do too is hold BPM and just increase the volume. All right, so I think we got our levels. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm using this pedal to give boost to this, and I'm just playing these samples just by ear, so it doesn't have to be in sync with the beat. So I can just play a beat, and then when I feel like I want to do the sample, then maybe I'll do another sample. So I'm gonna go to my sound, and these have all been pre-recorded. Let's go to another sample. So that sample's a little long. Let's try another one. Let's do this one.
He had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
Cool. So that is the basics of the pocket operator and this Tonic and the Street Fighter. So drums, vocal sampler, let's call that. Awesome. Now let's get to the synth. Now the synth is something that's pretty special. It is a spam can synthesizer that I actually built myself. There's a Arduino in there. I actually have a video for this. If you want to learn how to build this, just check the link, click the link up above. I have the spam can synthesizer that's going into my poly effects that's going to be giving it additional reverb and any effects I want to add. So what I did to the poly effects is I'm going to load a preset, and I actually favorited one that I liked. There we go. So it's called Dual Verb Pan. So I'm going to click that, and basically it's 2 reverbs and it's panning between the two. I really like the sound of it. I think it goes good with the synth. And yeah, so right now I'm going to start turning my volume up, making some weird sounds. So this is what the synth currently sounds like. However, we can get it to sound a little bit dubsteppy. Let's hear, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Alrighty, so this synth actually has a lot of variation in sound. So you gotta find the sweet spot. So I start the live jam already having the knobs in a certain position that I like it. For example, this here is kind of like a filter. So I'll treat this as my filter. This here is acting like an LFO. So filter, LFO. And then this here, this knob is kind of weird. It changed the tone of the synth. I don't know if the tone's the best word. It's more like this knob here will change what the synth sounds like overall. I can't really find a terminology for it, but I'll give you an example of it. So again, LFO, filter, and it's called the tone. Sweet. So another thing I did too is I would rehearse this all together. Another huge tip as well, it's always better to keep your pocket operator that's playing the vocal samples playing, just because it doesn't matter if it's in sync, but I can show you why. So for example, if I choose a sound, do you hear that? When I'm changing the sample, it's playing a bit of it, which is kind of annoying. But if you have it always playing, I can switch samples without having to hear the sound of it playing just a little bit. So check it out. Now switch it. So I'm able to switch the sample without having to hear that annoying little bit. So another thing too is with this sample, I like it faster than I do slower. So I'll have to remember to do this. Sometimes I'll write a cheat sheet. Just remember little things about what knob does what, or what samples where, or what drum sequence is where. Just have a little cheat sheet off to the side. Of course, rehearsing always helps too. So, all right, I'm basically gonna start this jam. So let's start it with a beat. And we got this going. Now I'm gonna slowly bring in my spam can synthesizer. Maybe find an LFO that sounds good. Now, another thing too is like the mixing board. We always gotta think about how we're gonna mix this together. So the drum track is going through one of my mic inputs onto the mixer, and I actually have the highs all the way down because see all that noise? Not a fan of it. I think it sounds fine without it. So, and I got my synth on this track, so you gotta find a good level for that. You can always check, I always check my my field recorder to make sure I'm not peaking, to make sure everything's kosher and everything looks good, everything sounds good. All right, so let's do a little, let's play a sample. You know what, I think that's a little loud, so I can either bring the gain down here or the volume on the pocket operator. So why don't I bring the volume down the pocket operator and a little bit of the gain. Sweet, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll start the live jam with the sample because I think it'll sound cool. So let's do this. That's pretty cool. Bring the filter in. Let's go switch the drum track. All right. Switching the sample up. Yeah. Really feeling this beat. Those little glitchy things that are happening is through this spam can. It's unpredictable. All right, switch the beat. Now for this, I like to bring the LFO up, sort of interluding something. Now I'm gonna play another sample. So I'm gonna go switch my sample up. Yeah. And switch the beat up.
We have one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
Let's bring the LFO down. Again, it's always good to make sure your levels are good. So I'm going to trigger that sample one more time, but when I do that, I'm going to switch to another drum track here, and we're just going to go fucking wild. All right, let me do this. So, playing the sample.
We had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
All right, so let's recap. Drums are being played by the Tonic. Samples that are vocals are coming from the Street Fighter, but also going through a cool, insane pedal. The main synthesizer that's being played is a spam can synthesizer that I built with an Arduino inside that is going to a poly effects pedal that you can put you can put delays on here, you can put reverbs. I just happen to like this dual pen reverb. I think it sounds great. And all these are going into a mixer, which I manage the levels. And all these knobs are here. You have your mic inputs that have more control, and then you have your regular inputs, which is left and right, or stereo. And yeah, you have your master over here, which I don't touch. I usually just leave it. And finally, it all goes into a Zoom recorder, field recorder that I press, record on camera, so you're able to match up the video and the audio together. And yeah, I also have a lav mic on that's recording my voice, and I'm actually shooting with 3 Sonys. Alrighty, so that's about wraps this video. My name is Decimal, and if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing. And if this video does well, I will definitely do more videos like this. Comment below and tell me if you like this type of video, because it's totally something different. It's not something I do. I usually do not explain my setups, but I definitely think it's a good venture to, show an insight of how these devices all work together to make some audible DAWless jam. And it's a lot of fun. All right, so I guess I'm gonna just play myself out now. Let's do it up.
He had one more important sound we wanted you to hear.
Somebody's a fool.